What in the world was this? If you had asked me what I thought the writers of Batwoman would do once they got really, really desperate, I don't think I would have come up with rip off the Fast and Furious movies. Maybe this episode was meant to coincide with the release date of Fast 9 before that movie got delayed and delayed and delayed, because that's the kind of lame-ass PR stunt the CW loves. But come on! Could you ass clowns be any more transparent about this? What happened? You think because you do an episode about fast cars and throw out cool-sounding words like drift and redlining, like you even know what those things mean, that all those Fast and Furious fans are gonna check out Batwoman hoping to see a Vin Diesel cameo? Hey, at least you're trying something, right? I mean, it sucked, but what other options do you have at this point? Writing a good show? Ha! Yeah, I think we can rule that one out. We've got 3 episodes of this crap left before we can put the nail in Season 2's coffin, people. 3 episodes left, and now Fast and Furious Gotham Drift is a thing. If this doesn't get us back to so bad it's funny territory, nothing will. The episode begins with speeding cars, because people sure do like those Fast and Furious movies, so if we pretend that we like them too, all those people are gonna watch our show, right? That'll make us seem cool, right? That'll get our ratings out of the septic tank for sure, right? Right? Ugh. The False Face Society is raiding some pharmaceutical company for supplies. They load boxes into the cars, and the cars take off for Black Mask's hideout, where Angelique is handcuffed to a chemistry set. Black Mask is pissed off that she only lasted 3 days in prison before she started ratting him out, but they're in a bind and they need her right now. Apparently, Ocean told Black Mask that the snakebite formula was toxic if it wasn't cooked using his super secret, super special method, so they're already retconning what they told us in the last episode, that Black Mask kept the snakebite recipe a secret. Now you're telling me that Black Mask kept the recipe a secret even from himself? You're telling me that Plan A was to have no insurance policy whatsoever in the event that the snakebite operation went tits up and they lost the only 2 people who could cook this shit, and then proceed to stand back holding your dicks while Ocean skipped town? Just out of curiosity, what was Plan B? So Black Mask strong-arms Angelique into cooking the snakebite. He'll kill her if she doesn't do it, whatever. Sophie tells Ryan that the crows think Angelique is still alive. Ryan wants to help, but Sophie tells her to just leave it alone and let her do her job. But Sophie sucks at her job, so that's a terrible idea and everyone knows it, so that's not gonna happen. Luke says that after raiding Gotham Pharmaceutical, the one ingredient the bad guys still need to make the snakebite is fear toxin. Hey, writers, how does Luke know what ingredients they need? The only way he could know that is if he knew the snakebite recipe. But you just told us that only Ocean and Angelique know the snakebite recipe. So which one is it? They don't know. They don't care. Cut to Alice waiting in Dr. Rhyme's office when a patient walks in and thinks Alice is Dr. Rhyme. You know, for a woman who's supposedly the most infamous killer in Gotham, Alice must have a very forgettable face. Because it seems like she's out in public more and more lately and has not been recognized once. What's it take, huh? Does she have to paint her face white and dye her hair green? That's not a suggestion, writers. I'm only using it as an example. Alice plays along and messes with this guy for funsies until the real Dr. Rhyme walks in, at which point Alice gets bored and sticks her knife in this man's throat. See, for a while this season, the writers were toying with the idea of making Alice more sympathetic to grease the wheels for a possible redemption arc, which involved her easing off on all the murdering. But now that we know she only murders people because she was hypnotized, she can murder all the men she wants because it isn't her fault. How f***ing convenient. So Dr. Rhyme quickly admits everything she did, and she thinks Alice is there to get her memories of Ocean back. But Alice doesn't care about those. What she cares about is getting rid of her memories of Kate. Alice, More sympathetic I could not be, but you've got to wait your turn for that, and the line starts behind this guy right here. More drag racing, more bad guys driving fast cars, because those Fast and Furious movies are a thing. Do you love our show yet? Do you? Do you? These are False Face Society people. I guess Luke ID'd their cars with traffic cameras. Batwoman cuts one of the cars off and tries to get some information out of this thug, but surprise, surprise, it's Sophie. She ID'd the driver and replaced him so she could go undercover. All alone, completely without Crow's support, because Sophie's an idiot. But now, because of Batwoman, she's burnt. Black Mask only gives out the location of the heist on these special phones just minutes before the heist begins and only gives the drop-off information after the heist is done. Is it just me, or is that a weirdly specific and complicated way of doing crime? Oh, but if they had more than a few minutes to get to the heist, then they wouldn't have an excuse to drive really fast in their super awesome cars, now would they? Well, it all makes perfect sense now. By the way, did you know the Fast and Furious movies are a thing? Because if you didn't, well, then I guess you're just not cool. Not like all the people who watch Batwoman are. Do you love our show yet? Do you? So now Sophie has nothing and tells Batwoman to stay out of her business. Oh yeah, there's a big fucking loss. Alice talks about how she's been hallucinating Kate as a 13-year-old, and Dr. Rhymes says that's why she shouldn't have Kate erased, because this is someone who's been in her life for her entire life, and erasing her would radically change Alice's personality. Is that so? Well, seeing as how Alice's current personality is that of a remorseless murdering psychopath, I'm not seeing much of a downside here. What, are you afraid she could get worse? That she'd start killing people by the hundreds instead of the dozens? That she'd upgrade from a switchblade to a machete dipped in cholera? Or infest a maternity ward with plague rats? How much worse could she fucking get? Alice could have the meaning of life, the Powerball numbers, and the best sex she ever had tucked away in her memories of Kate, and losing that shit would still be a step up! And get this, Dr. Rhyme thinks that Kate's memory is Alice's last moral compass. Earlier this season, Alice tried to mass murder an entire crowd of people with poison-injecting bats, but she has a moral compass. If you say so. You're a monster, Alice, she continues, but you're rational. Imagine if you were at the mercy of every dark impulse. You were listening when I mentioned the poison-injecting bats thing, right? Just checking. But Alice's stabbing hand is getting a little antsy, so Rhyme decides to go with the flow here. She says that Alice needs to confront Kate and make the visions disappear herself, and only then can she excise Kate without completely fracturing Alice's psyche. So if they're trying to avoid fracturing Alice's psyche, does that mean that the Alice we've known this whole time has been the mentally healthy version? Does that mean that this is the before picture? Good God. Cut to Crow's HQ. Sophie walks into Jacob's office and tells him that Batwoman blew the false face operation. There's some other Crow in there who's upset that Black Mask killed 3 Crows, and if he gets away with it, it'll be open season on them all. Wouldn't that be a shame? So Jacob kicks what's-his-name out, then blows up at Sophie for putting herself behind the wheel of a heist car. Wait, is he mad that she was reckless and put herself in danger, or mad that she did this without his say-so? Or is it both? Actually, you know what? I don't care. He also thinks she's making this case personal because she guaranteed her informant's safety and then she immediately got kidnapped. But Sophie being terrible at her job is nothing new. So why is it suddenly personal now when this shit legitimately happens to her all the time? Anyway, Jacob's pissed, so he takes Sophie off the false face operation and puts what's-his-name in charge instead, which, as Sophie then tells Ryan, is terrible news because what's-his-name is going to scorch the earth to take down the False Face Society, Angelique included. And I guess we have to take her word for that because we just met this asshole 30 seconds ago, and literally all we've seen him do is express concern that a dangerous crime boss might not be brought to justice, which could spell trouble for any Crows that said crime boss has not executed yet. Oh damn, what's-his-name sounds like a real troublemaker, doesn't he? A real dangerous extremist. God help us save Angelique from this fucking madman, because if Black Mask doesn't kill her, what's-his-name is gonna make her wish he had. Anyway, Sophie's staying on the case, orders be damned, but with her cover blown and Falseface planning another fear toxin heist, because some places are just stockpiling that shit, I guess, she needs an undercover asset who can drive like an Indy 500 driver. Ryan volunteers, because if she can handle her van, which, to be fair, is canonically faster than the fucking Batmobile, then Indy 500 shit is kid stuff. Sophie thinks that's insane, but it turns out that a terrible option that puts at least one, probably numerous civilian lives in danger is better than just following orders and letting what's-his-name run the show. So what the hell? So Ryan puts Alice in a trance. She imagines being in a car with 13-year-old Kate. They take a picture with an instant Polaroid, and in the picture is 13-year-old Beth instead of Alice. Alice says that Kate always thought she knew her better than she knew herself. And that's why you're scared of me, says Kate. I can see that you have so much love to give. I'm sorry. I tried. I couldn't. Needless to say, Alice isn't buying this. I'm a manipulator. I wanted you to think I loved you as much as you loved me because that's what sisters do. But I felt nothing for you. Nothing for anyone. I was born with this bad brain that's only capable of hate and jealousy and bitterness. Kate says that's not true, and she'll always believe in her. But that means nothing to Alice because Kate's dead, so she takes a picture of Kate and suddenly she's gone. If only it were that easy. And then Ocean's there driving the car, because why not? He's not buying the manipulator thing, and then Kate just reappears. And this makes Alice think Dr. Rhyme is toying with her. Well, she's sure as hell toying with me, making Kate disappear only to bring her right back? Don't tease me with that unless you mean it, woman. Mary loans Sophie her car so Ryan can use it when she goes undercover. And Mary, for some reason, owns the perfect car for street racing. Because that's the kind of thing a person like Mary would be into, right? And yet, the strangest thing about this scene isn't the car. It's how weirdly cheerful Ryan is. She's in a surprisingly upbeat, carefree mood considering her girlfriend's life is on the line here. Why does it seem like Sophie is more worried about Angelique than Ryan is all of a sudden? So when Falseface tries Ryan out, she's gonna have to run through a whole bunch of street racing moves, and Sophie's like, do you know how to do car stuff, Ryan? Are you familiar with all the car-related words that the writers just looked up on the Fast and Furious fan wiki page? Because if you're not, then this whole thing is a bust. Ryan says she'll study, because you can totally learn to be a high-performance driver in a couple hours that way, and after she gets hired, after they pull off the heist, she's gonna have to put a tracker inside the fear toxin canister. I'm not sure how she does this without exposing herself to the fear toxin, but the writers didn't seem to think of that little detail, so it just doesn't come up. This plan is bulletproof. They can't get help from the Crows, so Sophie gets Luke to pitch in. He does computer stuff to create a fake identity for Ryan, and he gets her a recommendation for the job that the Falseface Society goon who does the hiring will somehow receive. Seems to me that if he could do all that, they ought to be able to find some of these people so they can question them. But hey, if I watch the episode with my brain turned on, I'm gonna be here all night. And after Sophie leaves, Luke gives Ryan some science that might come in handy. Comms tracker, and a portable version of the Batmobile's AI. Did you know the Batmobile had a fucking AI? Because I sure as hell didn't. And apparently, all Ryan has to do is attach the AI to Mary's car, and it's gonna drive the car for her. Because that's how cars work, am I right? Jesus Christ, we're not even halfway through this thing. Also, Luke says that Ryan teaming up with Sophie is a bad idea, and she'll figure out that Ryan is Batwoman because she's smart. What on God's green earth is Luke basing this on? Exactly f*** all, that's what. Hell, Sophie's normally so dumb it's a wonder she can tie her shoes. And leave it to these writers to have that not mean a goddamn thing at the end of this episode when it's time for Sophie to finally be semi-competent for a scene or two. So Alice is getting all freaked out about Ocean being in the trance when she wasn't even thinking about him, and Rhyme thinks that's proof that Kate was right and Alice is capable of emotion and attachment. But Alice thinks she's wrong because Alice killed Ocean and felt nothing. Not sure what that's supposed to prove, since the whole point of the story is that she has no memories of Ocean, so killing him shouldn't be a big deal anyway, and tells Ryan to rip these ghosts out of her head. Then Ryan has her try out with the False Face Society goons, where, thanks to the Batmobile's AI, she can drive better than frickin' Vin Diesel all of a sudden. And she's all, "Are you not impressed? I just did Fast and Furious Gotham Drift stuff out there, bitches." By the way, guys, did you know that the Fast and Furious movies are a thing? No, you know what? I fucking didn't. So if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go marathon all 8 movies right now and then get my advance ticket for opening night of Fast 9 just as soon as I prove how insanely cool I am by watching this stupid fucking episode of Batwoman. God damn it! So Ryan spouts off some technical shit about the car, and just like that, she's got the job. Wow, that was easy. Later, they're about to start the heist, but Sophie calls and tells Ryan that the FAA spotted a drone in the sky. That's gotta be Falseface, so if Ryan pulls over to plant the tracker, they're going to see it. So she needs to call this thing off. But no dice. Ryan thinks she can plant the tracker without stopping the car, which is such a bad idea even Sophie thinks it's dumb. But now with the Batmobile AI, Ryan doesn't even have to be driving the car anymore, does she? Anywho, Luke tells Ryan exactly how awesome the Batmobile AI is, and Ryan says she's really missing her Batsuit right now. I mean, she could have worn it under her clothes if she wanted to, but meh. So Ryan drives to the place, they load the canisters, Ryan takes off, she engages the AI, and then Luke is driving the car remotely from the Batcave, which is not how they said this thing works, and also not what an AI does. So were the writers really confused, or do they just not know or care how technology works? Oh, who am I kidding? It's both. Suddenly, Ryan has crows chasing her. Well, she says it's the crows, even though they're using a police siren. Not sure what that's about. And then they just open fire on her when she's in the middle of traffic and there are innocent bystanders all around without even ordering her to give up first. And not that this is out of character for the crows, but when they do stuff like this, why do the actual police never step in and stop them? This is reckless endangerment and a lot of other things. Why does the GCPD have nothing to say about it? Because the law doesn't exist on this show. It's whatever the writers say it is, whatever the plot needs it to be, end of story. Luke loses the crows at a red light, Ryan plants the tracker inside the canister without exposing herself to fear toxins somehow. I have no idea how that works. She gets to the drop point, the canisters are loaded into a van, and the van goes wherever it's going. But later on, Sophie doesn't meet up with Ryan and Luke like she was supposed to, so they figure she's going after Falseface herself. And I'd like to think that she'd get herself killed doing this, but my luck's not nearly good enough for that. Ryan puts Alice back in the trance because she wants Ocean gone now too. She imagines making out with him on the floor. He thinks she brought him here to apologize. "Why'd you kill me, Alice?" he says. She thinks he would have done the same. He says he wouldn't have. Then the trance is broken when the real Ocean barges into the office with a gun. Alice fights him. He takes her down. He explains how he's alive because of the Deus Ex Machina knife. It was bullshit then, and it's bullshit now. Alice is outraged that Ocean's working for Sophia again after she took their memories. A couple minutes ago, she didn't care about that, but now she's outraged. But Ocean thinks they deserved even worse, and pretty much blames himself for the whole thing now. So I guess Sophia's off the hook. So while Ocean's in town on business, he figured he'd track Alice down and ask her why she tried to kill him. And these clowns actually try to make us think Alice felt guilty about that. But let's not kid ourselves. The only person dumb enough to fall for this shit is Ocean. He lets his guard down, she gets the jump on him, they fight some more. Then Dr. Rhymes says some post-hypnotic command, and they're both instantly frozen by full-body paralysis. Why didn't she just do that before, you ask? Beats me. So Dr. Rhyme frees herself, gets up and leaves, but she says the paralysis will wear off in a few minutes. And also they have their memories back now because f*** it. Sophie follows the tracker to the Falseface Society hideout. She goes in, Black Mask starts talking to her from the shadows, and then he walks right up to her and jumps her from behind. Somehow Sophie didn't see him coming or hear which direction his voice was coming from, even though she's standing in a wide open space with nothing for him to hide behind, and she'd literally have to be f***ing blind and deaf for him to pull that off. Holy crap, Sophie sucks at this! Plus, Black Mask has eyes on Crow's HQ and knows Sophie came here alone and there's no backup coming. So, I guess not following orders and going into business for yourself isn't looking like such a great idea anymore, is it, Soph? Dumbass. So Black Mask is about to kill Sophie, Batwoman saves her, Black Mask shoots Batwoman, but he doesn't have kryptonite bullets, so that means nothing to her. However, ordinary punches are more effective against the Batsuit than bullets are now, if you recall, so he gets a few hits in, even draws some blood, and then he threatens to shoot her again after his bullets bounced off her a minute ago. Whatever. But Sophie stops him. Now they've got Black Mask helpless and held at gunpoint. And do they take his mask off to learn his real identity? Of course not. All they want to know is where Angelique is. He has Angelique's image projected up on a wall, or she's behind a curtain, or something, I don't know. And his men will kill her if they don't let him go, so he gets to walk away so we can drag this shit out for 2 more weeks. Later, Black Mask pays Angelique a visit after she's finished the first cook, and he thinks she should have the first dose. Because taking the only person you have who knows the snakebite recipe, meaning your entire operation depends on her being alert and thinking clearly, and pumping her full of hallucinogenic drugs is a great f***ing business model, isn't it? Jesus Christ, please tell me it's almost over! Angelique says to wait, because Ocean never actually gave her the full technique, which means she's basically just guessing about the recipe here, and it might be deadly for all she knows. So in 2 episodes, we've gone from 3 people knowing this recipe to 2 people to 1. The writers making up their minds about a single goddamn thing and sticking to it for longer than a week really is too much to ask, isn't it? Wow. So now that Angelique's pointed out how useless she is, Black Mask is more than happy to kill her, so she promises to help him find Ocean. Whoopee. Speaking of whom, that business Ocean was in town for was finding Alice. Since she destroyed all the Deus Ex Machina flowers on Coriana, and Sophia never stored any of the seeds, so she thought her family's legacy was destroyed. Well, that's pretty weird, since you already told us that all it takes to grow one of those stupid things is for a woman to bleed into some f***ing dirt, but now you need seeds for it? F*** off. But Ocean told Sophia there was 1 flower left. The one he stole that Batwoman now has. Again, pretty weird that he was able to steal that since Ocean's whole storyline is based on Sophia catching him before he stole the flowers. We're almost done. We're almost done. He asks Alice if she regrets stabbing him, and she says that she had it in her to stab Ocean through the heart. So just in case she gets the urge again, they should probably get something out of the way first. And then they make out. Do you give a shit? Does anybody? So the Crows are searching the false face warehouse. What's-his-name looks at security footage of the Batwoman Black Mask fight, and the mere fact that there is security footage proves that this criminal's hideout has better security than Crow's HQ does. And I'm not even a little surprised. He sees Sophie in the footage, but more importantly, he gets a sample of Ryan's blood from when Black Mask punched her. Yeah, no need to clean that up, Ryan. I'm sure a DNA sample could never be used to figure out who you are or anything. Later on, Sophie's inspecting the bullet holes in Mary's car, and then she finds the Batmobile's AI, which Ryan just left in the car and forgot about. Are you serious? My God, writers, this is Kate not bothering to secure the journal so she can get laid levels of dumb. So Sophie checks out the AI. She hears the audio of Ryan telling Luke about wishing she had her batsuit, so Sophie knows Ryan's Batwoman now. So Luke called it, I guess. But the funny thing is, it didn't happen because Sophie was smart. It happened because Ryan was a fucking idiot. So nobody looks good here. And holy shit, if there's a better way to sum up this show, I don't know what it is. Jesus H. Christ! Writers, what are you doing? You've gone from bullshit feminist and gay propaganda to virtue signaling to racial politics to whatever the unholy what this was supposed to be, you completely skipped over just trying to make a good show. Story and character continuity are non-existent. It's just whatever the episode needs to happen is what happens. And if it doesn't make sense, who gives a shit? I don't think I've ever seen a show where the writers cared as little about their own craft as this. These assholes are just collecting paychecks. I put more effort into reviewing this shit show than those clowns put into making it. And by the way, guys, did you know the Fast and Furious movies are a thing? Are we cool yet? Do you like our show now? Do you? Do you? F you. And f this episode. That's another episode down. 2 more to go, guys. 2 more episodes in this season, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it. But hey, at least Mary didn't appear this week. I guess that's something. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment to help me fight off the algorithm, ding the bell icon for notifications, and follow me on social media so you'll always know when I upload new stuff. The link is down there. Thumbs up the video, share, subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed, and I'll be back with more soon. You guys take care, do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you next time.